This is JT, and today we're going to be going through our next progression in our handstand series, which will be handstands supported against the wall. What we're going to do is we're going to be walking ourselves up the wall, not kicking up the wall. That means we will be facing the wall in our handstands rather than away from the wall, which is what you probably see most commonly. The main reason for this is that when you kick up against the wall, you generally put yourself in a banana-backed position, as my daughter's gymnastics team would call it, and that means that your lumbar spine is extended, your feet are against the wall, and for some people it causes low back pain. We definitely want to avoid that, but at the same time, what happens is when you push off the wall so that you can practice a freestanding handstand and start building balance, you're most likely going to fall forward. And when you fall forward, you're going to be feet on the ground, hunched over, and have to kick back up, fall, kick back up. If you can only hold the handstand for 1 or 2 seconds because you're learning, that's going to put you repeatedly falling, kicking back up, wasting a lot of energy. By facing the wall, what's going to happen is when you push off that wall to balance a little bit, most likely you will fall forward and you're going to fall right back into the wall, push off, into the wall, push off. So you can see where you're expending much less energy getting up and down and more energy in maintaining that handstand. Handstands may seem simple, but they're really not. They require a lot of isometric tension. They require posterior and anterior muscles working together to stabilize the body. So when we get to demonstrating this, I want you to remember full body tension, tighten the core, tighten the glutes, tighten the legs. The tighter your lower body is and the straighter and more aligned you are, the easier of a time your upper body, so your hands, fingers, forearms, shoulders, are going to have balancing the body. So total body tension, as tight as you can get, and that's going to make these more difficult, but it's going to lead to better balance being developed more quickly. The other thing is when we do handstands, the position that you would normally see, people would just get up into the handstand, shoulders in the middle of their joint. What you want to do is push for scapular elevation, somewhat similar to how we push for protraction at the top of a hollow body push-up. So you want to get into your handstand, and I'll demonstrate this when we get against the wall, but then you want to push hard through the floor and elevate the scapula. This is going to give you maximum engagement of the traps, of the muscles throughout the shoulder girdle. We will start getting into dynamic handstands, essentially handstand push-ups, in the next progression. But before you get to handstand push-ups, I want to make sure that you've built stability and strength throughout the shoulders to give you a nice solid handstand against a wall. You don't have to have a beautiful freestanding handstand to start doing handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups are perfectly fine as long as you have enough shoulder strength and stability to hold yourself up into a handstand. We want to be safe, do things right. So let's get to some handstands, and in the next progression we'll get into handstand push-ups. I'm going to demonstrate these against my fence. I normally do them against the door in the house because the door is easier to clean than a wall. Even if your feet are clean, as you walk up and down a wall and your feet touch the wall repeatedly, the natural oils in your feet could end up discoloring your wall. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure it's a surface that you can wipe clean. Put your hands flat on the ground. You'll see me walk my feet up the fence. When you get into your handstand position, one of the most important things is, and it will help you with keeping proper alignment of the body, is elevate the scapula, press down hard through the ground, and grip the ground with your fingertips like you're palming a basketball. So start out here. You're going to walk up the wall. My toes are over the top of the fence. It's not ideal. But basically, this would be a normal, like a handstand you would see, okay? The shoulders are in the middle of the joint, but we want to push for scapular elevation. So that means pressing hard down through the floor, gripping the ground, and pressing the shoulders up around the ears. So now the ears on each side are even with my shoulders. And then you're going to hold this position, remembering to constantly press down hard through the floor, keeping the scapular elevation. Tighten the glutes, tighten the hamstrings, tighten the quads. So legs are tight, glutes are tight, squeezing the abs, squeezing the core, total body tension. and you're gonna hold that position. You will find that when you push down hard through the floor, going from here to the scapular elevation, gripping the ground helps you keep tension, okay, throughout the arms. And what happens is, when it comes time to start balancing your handstands, you're going to need that full body tension. If your core, your glutes, your legs, if anything is not tight, it's gonna be very difficult to balance that handstand. But what you're going to find, maintaining that tension like we just did, these are gonna wear you out pretty fast. So even if you think, oh, normally I can kick up, I can get a handstand, once you put that scapular elevation in there, it's a game changer. That's gonna be way harder. So with these, shoot for 15 seconds, eventually 30, and try to see if you can get to 1 minute. It's not easy, and pay attention to where you feel the burn, because this is not dynamic, and we're not doing handstand push-ups yet. And I know people get impatient. They're like, man, why aren't we doing handstand push-ups? I want big shoulders. When you do this, you're gonna feel a crazy burn. And everywhere you feel that, that's where you're building strength. That's where you're gonna be experiencing muscular hypertrophy. So just pay attention to that mind-muscle connection. Pay attention to where it burns, where you feel the muscles working, and work on scapular elevation once again, palming the ground like a basketball, keeping that full body tension, tight core, tight glute. I say that all the time, but yeah, think about it or it doesn't happen. Engage the glutes, engage the abs, engage the quads, the hams, and work on that feet against the wall, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and I'll see you in the next video.